can hear it, and I'll answer it, and I'll love you forever.
I love you, buddy.
Yeah, will you love me forever? I'll love you forever. And I'll take you away and make you my wife. All right, in your case, husband. What song is that? Oh yeah, that's right. Paradise by the Dashboard Light. I remember that. I don't know. Do you know the history of that song? Okay. If you don't, I'm going to tell you. Just my nature. That song was written about my 1963 red Ford Galaxy convertible that had the dashboard of doom. I don't know if you ever read this. And a girl I went out with by the name of Renee Allen. And so, did you ever go parking in the back seat of your car? Never? Okay, I didn't think so. I could tell we were all that kind of people. And so, we did, and it was always, no, not tonight. So that's where I don't think she ever said stop right there, but that's kind of where, that was Jim's artistic flair, stop right there. Worked perfectly. And anyway, that was the basis of that song. The rest of it is, he made up. Like, will you love me? No, she might have said that, will you love me forever? That's possible. But at the end, I'm praying for the end of time. Well, that was possible too. So anyway, I am Loaf, and are all of you from Michigan? No?
Yes.
Alaska?
Oh, wow.
Ohio, that's close enough. It's not that far from Michigan. You know, it's like Detroit and Toledo, and that's Ohio. And I know that. I'm good at geography. So anyway, I have a history of Michigan and Ohio, and it started in my mother had cancer, and this is a sad story, but anyway, my mother had cancer, and I guess I was an immature child at the time, and I was at North Texas State University, and I went to visit her, and I didn't know, I talked to her 3 weeks before, and all of a sudden she was in some hospice, and I walked into the room, and she was in a plastic tent. And my mother weighed about 140 to 160 pounds. She looked like she weighed 80. And I freaked out and ran away and went to California. I'd been hurt playing football, so I was lost there. And now my mother's dying, so I was lost. And I was homeless for a while. And okay, you ready for this story? I'm gonna, abbreviate that. Now singing, you just assume I could sing. I used to ride in the car and sing in the radio, and my mother would go, it's a good thing you're not going to be a singer because you can't carry a tune in a bucket. I got hit in the head with you may have read this, I got hit in the head with a shot put, a 12-pound shot at 62 feet by the state, he was a senior, I was a sophomore, by the state champion. He wasn't supposed to do that, but he was like, I'm state champion, yeah, shut up. So, and he hit me in the head. Not immediately did we know that, but after that, I could sing. I don't know. And some nerve, something, and I could sing, and I got in a musical, and blah, blah, blah. And then in my senior year, we were drinking beer, and my friend said, I bet you won't go audition for one of the leads in the music. Oh, yeah, I will. Walked in, I don't know what I sang. Next day on the loudspeaker, and I'm going to tell you my real name. Oh my God, help me. The next day, the principal announced on the loudspeaker, and the leads in this year's musical are so forth and so on. And in the role of Ezra Weber, Marvin Lee Day. And I went, what? No. And we were in the homeroom. I said to Homer, can I go to the office? I went down there. I said, I can't do this. And he goes, did you audition for it? I said, yeah, but it was like, he goes, you're doing it. Okay. And then the baseball coach used some profanity at me that I won't say now. And are you going to do this blank? And musical or you're going to play baseball? And I don't like that kind of, I don't like that. And I told him I'm going to do the blanket musical. And so I did. And then you did something in the musical, and I'm going to let you ask questions after this. I did something in the musical that, as a professional actor, you never do. I said to the lead, I had a scene with the girl who was the lead, and I had done this whole improv thing. I'd worked on in my room for a week, and I had on 12 pairs of socks, and I don't know, different shirts. And I said to her, listen, if you can get your lines in, go ahead. If you can't, don't worry about it. And I just went out there and just improv the scene and got laugh after laugh after laugh, and then got voted one of the 10 best actors in Dallas. And it was basically based on that. It's the only way I can figure out how I got voted for that. So anyway, back to my mother. She passed away. I was lost. Went back to California. I don't know. Went and sang a song at a youth center. Next thing you know, people want me to get with them in a band. Got a band. We played. Came to Michigan, and my first job as a band in Michigan was opening to a band called the MC5, and they were friends, and MC them a long time, and I was part of the Free John Sinclair movement, but he stood for truth, justice, and the American way. It wasn't a lie. So anyway, and then I left here and went back to LA, went to get a job in a parking lot, and that night I was in the cast of Hair. And then later on, I never got into that show because the guy didn't leave. They said, you ever been to Detroit? I went, I just left Detroit. Oh, well, we want to take you back and do Hair in Detroit. You know any singers there? I said, all of them. And so I came, did Hair, did it for a little while. They said, we want to move you to Broadway. Went to Broadway, I was there for about a month. Somebody said, you know what? You're pretty good at this. You should take it seriously. So at that point, sometime in like 1970, I decided to take this career seriously. And I've done sort of okay, I guess. You know, done a lot of acting and 6 Broadways, 2 Shakespeare's. Don't ask me about that. I have no idea. And did Rodrigo and Othello. If you know Othello, I did Rodrigo. That's a hell of a part. I have not, I got good reviews too. The guys, I must have paid them. So anyway, 6 Broadways, National Lampoon show with John, and us John Belushi's understudy, and then went in with him with Bill Murray and Gilda. And I've worked with everybody from Steve Martin to Bill Macy to Brad Pitt to Ed Norton to Raquel Welch to Melanie Griffith to Elizabeth Taylor, Sammy Davis, on and on. I mean, I can't, I've had this very strange, weird life, but it's been really interesting, and I can thank all of you for it, and I do. Thank you very, very much. Now, if you have any questions after that rant, please come forward. Come on down, as they say in showbiz. On The Price is Right. Come on down.
So the question with the guy that hit you with the shot put, did you ever mail him a check?
What?
Did you ever mail him a check for his portion? If you couldn't sing before that,
okay.
he hit in the head.
If Sony Records would have paid me for selling 50 million records of Bat Out of Hell, I might have sent him a check. But they haven't paid me, and they owe me about $38 million.
Oh.
So if they send me a check, I'll send him money.
But
Okay? Is that fair?
you probably wouldn't have done as well even with the movies.
What?
You probably wouldn't even done as well with anything in your life if it wasn't for the guy hitting you in the head.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, right.
I'm a hell of an actor.
You're right.
Even if I couldn't sing, I could act.
I think you're your acting ability, you change your singing ability. Okay,
Yeah.
take it all.
And I don't, and even if I sing, I don't know that I sing. When I sing, every song is in character, and every song has a different human singing it. That's why if you've ever been to a show, all the songs, all the temperaments of the song, all the individuals singing are all different personalities, because they all are different personalities. And I could not tell you ever a single scene I've ever shot in a movie. I don't know. I've seen it on film, but I don't remember shooting it. And I do not remember a live show.
Too drunk, too high back
No,
then?
I'm in character.
You're in
Meatloaf does not exist. Meat walks to the edge of the stage. Meatloaf walks on the stage. Meatloaf walks from stage right to stage left, back not as far. And what he's doing is what I'm did with all of you. I put all of you into one person, and I was talking to one person just then. And that's what I do live. And I had someone yesterday who was in the Air Force in Philadelphia, and he went to the Spectrum to see me, and he said, way in the back. The other thing I do, whatever venue it is, I didn't do it here, but whatever, an arena, a theater, a club, whatever it is, I go out where the audience is going to sit, and I walk the entire space.
They get a feel for you, and you get a feel for them.
And I know what they're seeing, I know what they're feeling. And then the guy said to me, I told him what I did. I said, I tried to sing to one person. He said, before he said it, he said, it felt like I was in the front row. And I said, that's just why. And that's what I do. And I don't remember a show. And the only way I know what happened to the show, either they filmed it or we recorded every show I've ever done since 1986. Not all of them turned out because the CD went bad and the cassette broke. But the majority of them, and the only way I know is before the next show, I go in 5 to 6 hours early before a show, and I listen to the show before. And that way, I know to say, don't ever let me do that again. And I go and I work with the band a little bit on that, and then there's a 2-hour zone where nobody is allowed in my dressing room because I am
getting the vibe.
Focusing. You call it getting a vibe, I call it focusing. Getting a vibe is fine with me.
I understand where you're coming from. I mean, you get a feeling for the way everybody is.
And I don't ever remember doing a show. And when I come off a show, it's like running full speed into a brick wall. I'm in pain. And if you're ever backstage, the band's just walking over me going, good show, me. They're walking over me and people around them going, is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. I'm just laying off. I'm just hurting. But that's okay.
Got you.
I give it everything I got all the time, just like now. So come on in, sit down, have a seat. Glad you could make it. You're late.
You're glad you ain't a comedian, because then I'd have a good one. But come on.
I do stand up too, by the way. So anyway, come on.
First of all, I really want to thank you.
Did you leave your job early for this?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I know, it's tough.
Yeah, they're gonna get me.
I know, they'll be
but,
okay.
Anyway, you introduced me to rock and roll. To me, you are rock and roll. I was a Barry Manilow fan until I heard you. So thank you.
I have nothing to say about that.
I know, you saved me. Thank you. But what made you change your name to Michael?
Okay. I told you my real name a while ago because they announced it. All right. When I was probably 8, 9 years old, I was very big. And I could not wear Levi's. I had to wear, my mother, they had to go to Sears and Roebuck and buy men's pleated pants. And I had to wear pleated pants to school when everybody else was wearing Levi's. And Levi's came on the radio. I was sitting outside a 7-Eleven. My mother went to 7-Eleven, and a commercial for Levi's came on, and the Levi's commercial went like this: poor fat Marvin can't wear Levi's. I have been ruined for life. So in 1984, I went before a judge in Stamford, Connecticut. And I said to him, I'm going to change my name to Michael. I wouldn't tell him from what. It was on the piece of paper. I don't ever say it if I don't have to. So I'm not going to say it again. And so we talked, and he said, well, why'd you change your name? And I said, because. He goes, well, do you owe money? I said, no. He said, what? And he goes, well, why are you doing it? I said, because when I was a kid, there was a commercial, and I was very big. In fact, I'm pretty big now, but I can wear Levi's now because they make them. Back then, they didn't. Poor fat Marvin can't wear Levi's. He said, what? I said, poor fat Marvin can't wear Levi's. He goes, are you serious? I said, yes. He turned to his clerk, and he said, go get the change of name forms. And the clerk did. It takes normal 3 months to get a change. I got it instantly. And he said, it's a good thing that it's not now because you would own Levi's. So I got my Michael right there on the spot. I walked out there, and he says, have a great day, Michael. I said, thank you, Your Honor. Walked out. That's why. Poor fat, what's his name, can't wear Levi's. Yeah, Mom, please. At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, good. Now, okay, the last group, as they were leaving, I heard somebody, and they all went, yay. So I'm going to count to 3, and I want everybody as loud as you can to go, yeah, okay? Loud. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Perfect. Oh, you guys rock. Okay. Okay, no mask mandate. Put it down. I can't understand a word you're saying with that stupid thing on.
I just want to say thank you for coming to Michigan. I'm from Toledo, Ohio, and
I'm sorry.
There's a movie I love this time of year, a Rocky Horror Picture Show. Do you stay in touch with any of the old cast members?
Well, I speak to Barry Bostwick a lot, not a lot, but some, and I see Little Nell lives in Australia, and Pat Quinn is drunk, and she doesn't make any difference, she knows it, and she lives in the UK, and so they come to these events from time to time. So I see Barry, and I see Nell, and I see Pat sometimes, and every once in a while I see Susan, and Tim, I don't know if you know, has had several strokes, and apparently he's had 2 within the last year and a half, which has made him really where he can't even attend these anymore. I saw him in Utah, in Salt Lake City, right before COVID, in October, before COVID hit. And we were talking, and I said, you look better. I said, can you walk? He goes, oh yeah, let's go for a walk. So I got him up, we walked around a little bit. I said, this is fantastic. He goes, I feel I'm getting better. And then COVID hit, and I think that, because I got thrown out of physical therapy, which did damage to me, so he probably lost some things too, and the stroke hit him again, and he's having a hard time. But Tim Curry, there's a phrase that you've heard if you studied acting, and I studied acting before I ever got to Broadway in school. And when I was playing football, the second half of the year, they made you take another study hall. I hated study halls. So the first half of the year I went into choir. I couldn't sing, I went like this. I lip sync. So then, the second half, they said, I want to elect it. They said, well, you can take a drama class. Perfect. I'll sit in the back of the room like Fonzie. And then I got into it, and they taught you there it's about, you have to be in the moment. So my whole time I learned about being in the moment, being in the moment. So I thought I knew what the hell being in the moment was. I found out with Tim Curry. And Tim Curry really taught me how to act within 15 seconds. We had been rehearsing, and he did a line like, well, Dr. Scott, we need it last, and I answered it with some of the same thing. Well, Frankenfurter, we do need it last, or something like that. So, the second night of second performance, he said it completely different. Completely. And if I had said my line the way I've been saying it, Dr. Scott would have not looked like a doctor. He would look like a moron. And it seemed like I sit there for an hour, and I had to adapt my line. And that night I did a lot of, and I went, that's what being in the moment is. It's hearing what the other person says and reacting to it. Nothing more, it's that simple. It's like me and you, we're in the moment.
I just want to say thank you very much for being in that movie, and thank you for being such an amazing artist.
Well, Okay, thank you. But I'm going to say this to all of you. I don't believe in star, icon, legend, any of the above. I believe this. We are all, every one of us, equal. We are all the same. We just have different jobs. And that's who we are. We're all equal. And believe that and know that, and that's who I am. Okay? Cool. Now let's rock. Come on. Who you dressed as again?
Someone's still looking for Paradise by the Dashboard.
I know. So she, as a matter of fact. Oh, but she's with him. Never mind.
So I read in the paper an interview preparing for this weekend that
Nobody
you got
anything you read in the press.
that you've thinking about getting a new album out, working on a new album.
Well, we're working
possibly
on
a tour.
What?
And possibly a tour.
I'm trying to go out next summer for 16 shows. It's going to be painful because I've had 4 back surgeries. I'm in pain 24/7. I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm in pain,
Yeah.
but not horrible. This
Yeah.
morning was horrible. Right now, not so bad. But I know if I'm going out on tour, that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to hurt like hell, and when I go to bed at night, I'm going to hurt like hell. But when I'm doing the show, adrenaline's going. I have no pain. If you go watch on YouTube. And it wasn't for politics, it's because Mike Huckabee and I are friends, and I've known him for a while. It has nothing to do with him being a governor from Arkansas. It's just I liked him, and he's been asking me to do a show for 7 months. So finally I agreed, and I put it on Facebook, and everybody came around, oh, it's Mike Huckabee. I said, it's not about politics. I'm going on to sing and tell a story. And so, and that's what I did. I told him, so if you go on YouTube, I did my first performance in 6 years on Mike Huckabee 3 weekends ago. 3 weekends ago on a Saturday night. I did 2 songs live on air, and they recorded the next one. So you can go in and see both questions he asked me about JFK in Dallas and about how I got in this business. And I do 3 songs, Out of the Frying Pan Into the Fire, a song off of Hinkle Teddy Bear, which is in my top 5 albums. And I do a Los Angeleser, and then I do a 1952 blues song called Mercury Blues. And you can judge if I can perform or not. You can judge. Most people say, wow. So I'll let you tell me what you think.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Thank you.
I'm sure I am fine.
Hi, how you doing? How you
Good.
doing?
What's your name?
My name's Ray from the
Hi.
Detroit area. So
From what?
from the area.
Oh, I thought you said you sell cardigans. Okay.
So like many of
That's a good profession, selling cardigans. But business is slow these days. Although it's going to be winter, so it'll pick up.
It is.
Okay, go ahead.
So I follow. I'm a big fan. Followed your
Thank you
career.
very much. I'm a big fan of yours too, Dan.
One thing I've never heard talked about is 2 questions real quick. In the 80s, a lot of your videos from Bad Attitude and others. One question is you're holding a red handkerchief in most of the videos from the 80s. At the mic stand, you have a red
I
handkerchief.
started holding. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So the red handkerchief,
Yeah.
where that started. And then another question is you duetted with Sammy Hagar, John Parr, Marion Ross. Marion. I forgot her name.
That's Marion Raven.
Marion Raven. That's
Yeah, and
Patty
on and
Russo.
on and on. Cher,
Yeah.
Roger Daltrey.
Exactly.
Good Lord, it's endless.
Right. So second question is
Ozzy.
exactly. Anyone live, young or classic today? Would you still like to pursue a duet?
Other than you, no.
If I could sing, that would be a possibility.
Well, you don't have to sing. You don't have to talk.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's right. So, no, the red handkerchief. Jim and I were working on the songs, and it was about, I'd gone to LA, we did Rocky Horror, came back, no, it was before then. It was before Rocky Horror. I was doing, I don't know, some show. down at the Public Theater, which is run by Joe Papp, who was the king of New York theater, and will be forever. And Jim and I were working, and we had took the words, and we were doing other things. We were doing Adobe Grace song, and we had Crying Out Loud, and we had, I can't remember what we had, but anyway, we opened for a woman named Genya Raban, and somebody said to her, you know, you might want to not have him open for you. And she goes, oh no. So we were doing 2 nights. The next night she came and goes, would you mind if I go on first? And I said, no, it's fine. She didn't say why, I know why. So anyway, I had a friend who started my career, who was the guy who is the director in the story of the director from the parking lot. If you listen to the story in the parking lot, went to get a job in the parking lot, wound up in the gas hair. And he was the director, and his name was Armand Coulet. Well, he became a friend, and he was my go-to guy for everything I did in New York theater. If they offered me a script, I didn't know, I went to him. I worked with him on characters, I worked with him on acting. And he came to this club called Reno Sweeney's, and I sweated a lot, you never noticed. And so I was sweating. So the next night, he brought me a red handkerchief and said, use this on stage and wipe your head. I said, okay. So from that moment on, sometime like 1973, I used a red handkerchief till today. Still do. I don't have one today because I don't need one. I should have had one. You should have had one. Okay.
Thank you for that, sir.
That's it. Armand Coulet, thank him. He was a college professor at University of Mississippi in theater, and then they gave him a chance to direct there, and then he went on to direct a lot of other things. And good guy, passed away in 1989. Too bad.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
That's okay. Armand says thank you. No, thank you. It's your turn to say thank you again.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay. That's it? Nobody else has got a question. All right, here we go.
Actually, we talked yesterday, and I told you that I had performed on stage for years, and that you were one of the people that inspired me. Now, I know I had
I'm sorry.
No, you were awesome. I mean, I had your first name on 8-track. Bad on that.
That's a shame.
Well, it was...
8 tracks are so bad. You know, Bad Out of Hell was so long that what happened was it took the words right in the middle of the song. So Bad Out of Hell was you got Bad Out of Hell, but then took the words, got cut in half.
Yeah,
And it went cling.
but I mean...
And I heard somebody yesterday who had an 8-track, listened to it a long time. When she got the album, she expected it to go gig.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but you were an inspiration, and I know I have my favorite songs.
Okay, what is it? What are they? Tell us.
Oh.
We all want to know.
No.
Right?
Actually,
Right?
Okay. Golden Earring, Twilight Zone was one of my favorites. Okay. But what I want to know
Golden Earring, that's not my song.
No.
Golden Earring.
You're I know everything you did. But what I want to know is, what was your favorite song to perform?
Well, my favorite song that I've ever recorded is not necessarily my favorite song to perform, because whenever I start to perform it, I start to cry. And you can't sing a song and cry. It's called For Crying Out Loud. And it is, and I will argue with anybody alive today, it is absolutely, positively, without a doubt, the best love song ever written. And it is so emotional for me. I can't do it all the time live, and when I do it, I start to cry before I do it. And then they have to play piano longer until I recover. So, but the piano part's good.
Yeah, I just
right now. And my next favorite song, you ready? I interrupted you again, but that's okay.
No,
It's Objects in the Rearview Mirror, because it's partly about my life again.
Okay, awesome. Similar situation. I would perform Knocking on Heaven's Door, and I had a friend
All right, let me hear.
that
Come on.
no. I had a friend.
Knock.
I had a friend that passed away.
I'm
and
sorry.
My bass player said, "This is for you, Timmy," and I got to go into that song, with his wife sitting in the audience, and it was just horrific.
And you wanted to hear Knock Knock on Heaven's Door?
No, we were going to do the song,
Oh.
and he dedicated it to Tim. And
Who did that? Was that?
Bob Dylan, I think, originally did that,
Huh?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dylan.
good. I thought it was Guns N' Roses.
Oh, no. But yeah. So I
That's
did-
right, it is Dylan, thank you.
Yeah, but
My
I-
brain was going, you were doing Guns N' Roses?
Oh, no.
And I was saying,
But
I know, that's Guns N' Roses is fine, but Knock, you're right, Dylan.
Yeah. So, well, I
You're gonna sing Forever Young too by Dylan, which is one of his great songs.
Well, I appreciate the answer, and yeah.
No
I
problem,
understand.
I appreciate you talking to me
Oh,
about knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah.
And the fact you couldn't sing it. You know what, that upset his wife a lot, I tell you that.
I imagine so. All right.
Just kidding you. I'm
Thanks.
sure she was grateful for you.
I'm sure she was.
Yeah.
But thank you.
You're welcome. I'm ready for this. You got a great question, I know.
So several years ago, you were on Celebrity Apprentice, and I was wondering.
I was on what?
Celebrity Apprentice. I was wondering your relationships with the other cast members that you were on there.
Oh, well, I'm still friends with John Rich, and I speak to several of them. Marlon Matlin, I texted with just 2 or 3 weeks ago, and people get very busy. You're busy, and it's hard to, unless they're next door to you, it's hard to keep up, especially when they're in this business. You're torn. It's not like, you go to the office every day, come back home, it's a completely different world, this world. It's not a world, it's like a solar system. And so, yeah, and John Rich has some interview show that I did with him, and I haven't seen, I forgot, what's his name? Never mind. But some of them, yeah. But you see, and I'll tell you how I got into it. All right, I've never directed a film, but I'm doing a film in South Carolina. I can't remember the name of it. And Edward, what is it? Thank you. Edward Furlow is the star, and I'm the supporting. And so, one night we're shooting, and I directed several scenes of the film in a truck, on my truck, and driving around. And I get a knock on my door, and it's the producers. And Bruce said, "Can we come in?" I said, "Yeah, okay." So it's like 11:30 at night, and they go, "Listen, we want to know, we're interested, will you take over directing this film?" I said, "Yeah, right, no, we're serious." They said, "The crew will not work with this director anymore, and they're going to walk off at midnight. But if you agree to take over and go out and talk to them, we'll continue to work." So I said, "Well, give me a few minutes." They said, "We've only got a few." So I decided, okay, I've directed videos, let me go for it. So I said yes, and I finished the last 3.5 weeks of the film. Extraordinary. So I get about a week into the film, and it's not, I'm in the film, and I'm directing the film, and they're over budget, and they're overtime, so I'm cutting, and I'm doing this, and I'm calling the cast together, telling them, we're gonna take lines out, I'm taking lines out for me, everybody's agreement, and so one day, I get a knock on my door, okay, they're ready to shoot this scene, so I gotta run in and shoot this scene. No, I'm not in the scene, but I'm directing the scene. and a phone call. It's a phone call. And it's the guy who cast Celebrity Apprentice. And every year I've said, no, I'm not, no. It's like, they were offering me $1 million to do Celebrity Big Brother. I said, are you kidding? So, no, I don't do any of that. So he calls up, he goes, hi, I said, oh, hi. He goes, I'm calling about Celebrity Apprentice. I went, oh, okay, you gotta call me back. He took that, oh, okay, as I would do it. I never heard from him again. So I'm going, okay. So all of a sudden, we're rehearsing, we went on tour, my drummer comes down, he goes, are you doing Celebrity Apprentice? No. And they go, well, your name's in the paper. I said, oh, it's a mistake. 2 weeks later, there's pictures in USA Today of every cast member, and my picture's there. I'm going, oh, no. So I start making phone calls, and my music manager had one of his artists had been on the year before, 2 years before, and he won. I can't remember his name anyway. And so I start calling my agents in California, and the music manager going, oh no, it's good, you got a record coming, it's gonna be great for it. I'm going, no. And so finally all the casting agents in LA say, look, tell him it's okay, just stay under the radar. Don't do anything to stand out at all, other than do the show, but don't do anything over the top. So I don't at all until Gary Busey. And I'm like a kindergartner, but I'd slept for like 2 hours. And Donald did not show up for one of the board meetings until after 1 a.m. one time. And we're all sitting there waiting on him. And he fired, and it went on forever. He fired somebody like 3:15, and we go back to the room, and they tell you, okay, you gotta be down at 7:45. Are you kidding? So nobody slept. And so we're going to get paints. It's the day of the art thing. We're going down to this paint store to get paints. And so I'm helping Gary. I was called the Busey Whisperer up until that day. Anything that anybody want Gary to do, they'd come to me, we want Gary to do that. Okay, I got it. Gary, listen, this is what we're gonna do. Okay. Anything, he'd do anything I wanted. So that day, I'm helping him in the paint store. I come back and he's got the salesman that I'm working with, and he's taking them away. And I go, okay. And the night before, I told my wife, I'm gonna kill him. Not really, but she goes, listen, just don't do anything over the top. Okay, you're right. Okay, so then Mark McGrath, I'm walking down the street with Mark McGrath, he goes, me, just calm down, don't worry about Gary. I said, Gary's pissing me off. And so we go back to where we're doing the art. And Gary goes in and does it to help us take anything in, any of the canvas, any of the supplies, anything. I get into the room, and I'm looking for my paints. And I look over at Gary's desk, and my paints are on his desk, the things I bought at the store. And I go over to Gary, you've got my paints. No, I don't, these are mine. I go, Gary, those are my paints. He goes, no, and John goes, well, maybe you got something somewhere. So we start going around looking, and I go back, Gary, those are my paints. And I eventually get mad, and I start screaming, Gary, I want my paints. Those are not your paints. So what they did on The Apprentice, the editors, there wasn't one constant argument. It was me going up and yelling a little bit and walking away, and him yelling a bit, and me going back, and they cut it. So it's one big argument. So I look like the biggest jerk on the planet. Some 3-year-old spoiled child who is accusing Gary Busey of stealing his paints. And so, okay, we got over it, and they want me to go on Ellen DeGeneres, okay? So the producer says, can we use that argument with you and Gary Busey? I said, don't you dare. I said, no, you can't use that. So Ellen introduced me. I walked out, and up on the screen, what was playing as I walked out was the fight between me and Gary Busey. That audience, and that television audience, thought I was, excuse my language, an asshole. And I don't like her anymore. So anyway, there you go. That's my story of The Apprentice. Every story, everything that I've done has this whole side effect to it. Everything has been an earthquake. There hasn't been a simple moment where, oh, I just show up and that happens. No, there's an earthquake around everything I've done in my entire life, including getting the hidden head with the shot put and being able to sing. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for being here.
Thank
Listen,
you.
listen, without you, I do not exist. Without you, I would not be here in front of you. Without you, I am nothing. And I thank each and every one of you for the opportunity you have given me. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you.
Love you.
One more time, I'm going to count to 3 and I want to hear a big yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah!